Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And I'm pretty excited about today. It's another fun episode of Beads and Brew. I've got my coffee with me, and I've got a fantastic guest who I've recently got to know a little bit better, more so through Tucson. She is an exceptional designer, has quite the resume, and also works a full-time job like I do. But I mean, her energy, her creativity, and just being a great human. I'm just so excited to have her. I haven't really officially gotten to hang out with her up until now, so like, there's just so much gonna happen, and I've got a few questions that I do want to ask Brittany Chavers whenever she gets on here um, during our interview and beat along. So this is a live show, which means that you guys can ask questions. I will post them as we kind of move along. We're going to show you some really exciting, cool products, beads, stuff that Brittany has made. And let me just bring her on and she can talk with us. Hey, Brittany.
Hi everybody. How you doing?
So good to have you here. I'm excited that we get to officially like hang out, even if it's virtual. But I feel
Yeah.
like later when we plan for Tucson again, um, we could do some fun stuff there. We could do some damage with our pockets. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Yeah, we did like the prequel this year. Like we got to hang out for probably like at least an hour while we were shopping, and it was so much fun, and I cannot wait for it to happen again.
Me too. Believe it or not, I actually did coordinate with my friend Jill, and we I went ahead and booked my room and my dates and my plane and everything
Yay.
already, which is crazy to think about because it's like half a year away, right? But
Yeah, but it's
um,
gonna go like that. Like it's already been a half a year since it happened, and it feels like it was yesterday. It feels
exactly.
like it was yesterday. So
Well, and stuff books up so quickly there because I
mhm.
think things are starting to return like fully back to normal. And
Yeah.
I miss completely that era whenever Tucson was at its like prime as a major event. And so now we're
Mhm.
sort of coming back into that, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I try to go as much as I possibly can. I'm going in, they have a fall show. It's much smaller, so I'm going in September.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna get some fun stuff. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. This year was just absolutely amazing. So much fun.
It was very memorable. So some of us on the Silver Silk land are new to you. And so give us a quick intro of who you are and some of the stuff that you do.
Okay, so I am Brittany Chavers. I have a YouTube channel called Turquoise Street. If you don't subscribe, you should because there are over 900 videos on the channel.
Ooh.
Um, I started off with unboxings and stuff like that just so people could understand like the so many different things, what beads were, where to get them, because it was kind of like gatekeeping. Everybody was not telling you where to get these cool beads, right?
Mhm.
So I get to focus on smaller, more small business owned companies like SilverSilk and stuff like that. And then I also do tutorials that kind of blossomed over the years. And now I work for JTV. Every Sunday we have a streaming show called Bead Break with Brittany. And I have my own bead shop now. So I make handmade polymer clay beads. I will be expanding into ceramic at some point, just not yet. I wanted to start it maybe Q4 this year, but we'll see if that happens. We're busy over here at Turquoise Street. Like you said, I have a full-time day job that I work 40 to 50 hours a week. So this is kind of all on top of that. But I have so much fun. And I get to like the best thing ever is making your own custom beads. So that's what I love doing.
It is. And I I feel like I've worked with many artists that make their own beads and stuff, glass and hand blown things. And so I don't, other than Christy Friesen, I don't think I've worked with anyone that does polymer clay. But whenever I got the ones that you sent me in the mail, I just was blown away. The level of detail that you put into them. And then also, it's layers, right, of things. Whenever we were kind of discussing the theme, which is clearly a sea theme, um,
Beachy, yeah.
beachy, fun vibe. I was surprised that some of the stuff that you put together, like it had that sand grade look and feel and texture to it. And so you not only thought about just creating the actual pendant. And, yes, you can paint over it, but you really thought about the materials that you were putting together to emulate like that theme. And so that level of detail, though, you can't get that with everybody. So I feel like that was so special. But
Yeah, so this is definitely like a custom drop for SilverSilk and SilverSilkies. So this was meant, I designed this collection. There's 15 items in this collection that's dropping today to go specifically with SilverSilk. So I'm super excited about that. How many people can say that they have a custom designed bead set?
Not many. And it's very far and few in between for me. So I feel extremely special.
Yay.
And I'm so glad we got to collaborate on this. But I am anxious, to get into the beads, and then to just know more about you as we sort of move along. But why don't you tell us about the beads first? Because I know we're going to create stuff, but I would love to.
Okay. So like I said, that's a check bead. That's not something we're making today, but
we're not talking about that.
I did pull out a bunch of beads to go with this collection and your beautiful SilverSilk. So this collection started, I thought, hey, I want to have a beach collection sometime this year because, it's one of my favorite things. And it just so happened that you said, hey, we're kind of doing a sea theme, beachy thing. I was like, yep, let's get it done. So we have several different shells. I've got these you know what? I can't focus on these. So I'm going to hold them back here. But these are little nautilus. They have almost like a granite look in them. And they are slightly textured to have almost like a sand feel on them. So you'll get
speckles is really what set the deal for me. Looking like sand.
So it's like little inclusions. And that you in this set you get the right and the left. So this one I think is the only one that's specifically right and left. Then there's a little turtle. It's showing up a little green on my screen, but this is like a darker turquoise painted on his back. And I wore a turtle ring today just to be extra special. And then we have a sand dollar pair. I told you I was going to bring in my drills and I forgot. So I'll have to go run and get those in just a minute. But these, you get two. These can be really big earrings or, just one. You can use them one. You can even drill another hole and make it into a bracelet bar, which I have a sand dollar on my wrist today too. Then we're going to move into the two larger pendants that I custom made for you. So we have one that has nautilus is that nautili? It's a tan.
It is today.
It's a tan base, and then I used gold paint on top. Each one's going to have a slightly different placement of the patterns, and I hand paint everything with my fingers. So, you're going to see some little differences between each pendant, and then each one's lined on the side with gold. Okay.
It almost looks like gold foil.
It does, but it actually is like that 18 karat gold paint. And I love it. It's so beautiful.
It illuminates in the light.
And then we have something similar. This is a donut. This one's like a light, almost baby blue, and it has a little bit of different pattern on it. It's got starfish and nautilus and sand dollars on it. And again, it's got a gold outside. And this one, I forgot to paint the inside, but the ones that I send out will have a gold rim on the inside as well.
Nice.
Here are some more blue pieces. These are little fishies. They have an embossed look. They have a little bit darker blue paint on them. Now, a lot of the ones that look like this or like this, the patterns will vary where they are on the beads, but they'll look largely like this once you get them. We have a little heart. I've done this heart before, but not in this style, so I wanted it to match the collection. It's got some little birds and a wave coming up. That one is just one piece.
Beautiful.
And then we have some matching drops that would be perfect for earrings for these two larger pieces. I made teardrops. These were custom made for Nealay because he liked the teardrop and that pattern. Yeah. So we again have that blue with the many different sea creatures and the gold. And again, these are gold on the edges as well.
I love how lightweight they are too. They
Yes.
are bigger components, but they are very, very lightweight. Like they
Yes.
feel like air.
Yeah. So this is going to be way lighter than like a piece of glass
Yeah.
or a stone or something because it's polymer. So it's a plastic that has been cured, and it's not going to chip or anything. It's really, really lightweight. And then we have a rectangle with the nautilus on it and the gold. And again, those are gold on the outside. Oh, I'm seeing some really nice comments come through. Thank you so much. And then we have, this one's like a little trapezoid, I want to say. Again, embossed with a bunch of different sea creatures. And then I used a patina instead of a gold or metallic paint and kind of just rubbed that over so you can really see the pattern. The fun thing about all of these beads is if you don't like the way they are, which I'm okay with that if you don't, but you can change them. You can, and that's one of my big things that I say on my channel. If you don't like the way your bead is, if you don't like the way your project is, change it. And you can use paints, you can use stains, you can use whatever you want on these to make them your own. So maybe you do like the gold, but maybe you want to touch a turquoise or a touch of purple and you just want to kind of go over it. You can do that. There aren't any rules. And you can also drill more holes in them. And I'll show you that in a little bit. I got to go grab my drill in just a second though. Here's another style nautilus. I have this in 3 colors, and I'm going to have to tell you a little story in just a moment, but this is the only one that's painted. This has that, again, sand color, sand texture, and then I used a purple and a pink to go with the SilverSilk colors. And then I have it in a green. Oh, thank you, Diane. I have a green. This one is a little bit translucent. It's showing up very green on the screen for me, but it's kind of between teal and green. But if you hold it up to the light, light will come through it. It's not opaque like these beads are.
We have folks asking where to purchase these.
So these, great question. My website is turquoisestreetbeads.com. Now it is closed at the moment. It will open 5 minutes after our show today. And the thing is, and what I'm going to kind of go into is I had a bead apocalypse last night, and it just, I haven't done this in years. I scorched an entire set of beads, and that means,
oh no,
yeah, I was like pulling them out of the oven. I was like, what's going on here? And unfortunately, the ones that I think are going to be the most popular, I have the least amount of, but I will be adding more throughout the week. And I'll tell you a little story about that. So Nealay, you have the crabs and you have these pink nautilus, but as you can see on screen, these are slightly different colors. So the set that I scorched included some of the crabs and
those are my favorite.
I know. That's why I was like almost going to cry last night. And all of the nautilus in this color got scorched, and I can't get my hands on this clay right now. So I am going to put some in this a little bit lighter pink in the shop. There are only going to be 5. I feel bad. Only 5 pairs of the pink, this pink crab, but I will be making them in this color and possibly a turquoise later in the week. So so if you can't get your hands on something today, please, please, please subscribe to my emails, because I send out emails every time I put something in the shop. Well, not every time I put something in the shop, but every time I do a drop. So there's going to be an email out today telling everybody that we have a new set of beads in the shop. But because this bead apocalypse happened, I will be loading in some other beads either later next week or next weekend.
Those poor crabs that got incinerated.
What'd you say?
Those poor crabs that got incinerated.
I know. It's funny. Nothing happens to the integrity of the bead. It's just the color looks scorched, and it's not like, it's just a little bit off. It's just a little brown. So I can still paint them. I think that's what I'll end up doing, and they'll just be a different kind of design, but I needed a second away from it. And then last but certainly not least, the most intricate pair for this drop, which there are many, many other types of beads in my store. It's not just hand painted beads. There are beads that I find in Tucson, gifts, jewelry. Right now I'm a little bit light on the jewelry and the gifts, but there are some beads in there, some really great finds, and some other polymer clay items from my last drop are still left over, but this is the last one for today. I'll just show you kind of how they come to you if you buy beads from me. They come in these little silver packages, and these are some of the beads that are still for sale. So you can kind of get an idea of how they come to you. And pendants come in a little bit bigger package. So that's what we have to work with today.
I love that. I was oohing and eyeing. Let me see if I can add everyone back in efficiently. There we go. I was oohing and eyeing over like so many of it. Like, first of all, I just kind of gathered all these up and then I just played with them in my hands for like 20 minutes when I first got them.
I love that.
They were packaged out beautifully, but they didn't stay in the package for very long before I was like, oh, I have to have all of them. And to your point earlier, like I did create some SilverSilk and I pulled some SilverSilk as well to match the beads just outside of this collection. But I know you got to grab if you wanted to show the drilling process. So I'll let you do that. I'm going to actually talk about the SilverSilk.
Okay.
Match.
Turn the camera off for just a second. Okay, cool.
All right. So let me separate. Okay, first of all, I'm a Cancer. Like, this is my birthday month. And to have a crab is just like the icing on the cake, really is. So I think I'm going to create something with these today just because I'm feeling the crabs. And I really like these little clam shells as well. So many pretty, beautiful, bright things. Typically, I don't work with pink, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I've got some fun stuff in the shop right now that you guys need to check out. Check out the pop-up shop specifically in the silversilkonline.com, which you could see right up here. Once you enter the website, you just click on the link that says pop-up shop on the top menu. And I added a bunch of other stuff today from the pop-up shop and wanted to let you guys know that that's a thing. Whoops. Don't know how that. Let me go back into solo. All right. And I also refilled some of the other chains that I didn't have anymore, such as the Meridian C is now fully in stock. And so yeah, I just sort of, again, just pulled different things. So this one is the pink conch, I believe, which is a metallic leather that has a knitted wire that's pink knitted over it. It's extremely exquisite. I just have a scrap of it out here, I think, that I think would work well with the crab. I mean, look at that. And then this was the Meridian C that I was talking about. So pretty. This one is a pearlesque chain, which means that it's got a rainbow tinsel, or in this case, sort of a light sparkly blue tinsel that's been knitted over a 2mm ball chain. And then knitted over both of those things is dark blue wire. So you get this really ultra layered SilverSilk chain. It's very supple. It's easy to work with. It's flexible. It drapes really well, particularly the captor chain. And then I usually say for the leather chain, it's got a lot of structure to it. So if you're into the bead weaving, that's when you can use this cord or this chain as a form to bead on directly onto your bead weaving, and it just provides an incredible like necklace structure and not as drapey as, say, the pearlesque or captor chain. I pulled out some purple, just feeling on some purple today. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then where Brittany and I started was the micro pipe chain, which I think I got a few snippets of. Let me see if I can grab the full collection of them real quick. And this one's a little different from my regular chains because I found a new material to work with. What can I say? So here we go. The micro pipe chain, which is kind of a fun thing to work with at the moment. It is the same as regular pipe chain, but it's smaller. And so you're going to see a more flexible tubing. It is a silicone tube. And so if you've got a silicone or rubber allergy, I probably wouldn't recommend you guys playing with this stuff. But if you don't, then it's going to be the most fun that you will ever have. It's got a hole through the center, so you can stuff it with craft wire or beading wire or whatnot, and have at it. For example, I made this really cool cuff that I'm going to show at the Great Bead Extravaganza of how to make, and knotted it up together. So there's like endless possibilities. And then you add in Brittany's charms and beads to them, and it really just elevates the design. But I gave Brittany this color palette, and then she produced all of these wonderful, beautiful. Like, I mean, how is that not perfect? I mean, everything about this is spot on. So, that's my little take on Silver Silk. But let me unmute you real quick. What are you thinking today? Oh, so you're gonna show us the drilling,
Yes.
like if we
So
wanted to make these into links.
yeah. So I don't know where my hand drill is, and you probably know that's because my room is chaos where you can't see outside of the camera. But I did find my Dremel. You can use a hand drill, you can use a push drill, you can use your Dremel, you can use a regular like home improvement drill, whatever you have will work as long as you just have like a drill bit for the size that you want to use. I drill pre-drilled holes in every piece. But if you are thinking like, hey, I want to turn this sand dollar into a chandelier, you can just drill another hole. So I'm just going to put that in my sand dollar and press. This is polymer clay, so it's going to go through really easily. I use a toothbrush to kind of just like clean everything up. And then there might be a little bit of clay still in the holes, so I just kind of go through and clean it up like that. Now you can do whatever size drill bit you want. I'm using a little bit bigger one because I want you all to be able to use whatever, like wires or whatever you think fits. You could turn this into a bracelet bar by just doing one hole here. The options are endless. And then we'll just kind of start creating, I guess. I have nothing in mind. So
Neither do I.
We'll see how it goes today.
I think I'm gonna just kind of go with the flow here as well. But as we're sort of setting up our crafting section, if you will, I do have a few questions that I'd love to ask you.
Yeah.
It's like, because like, we're buddies. We should know a little bit more about each other. And I'm just curious of your creative journey. But just to kind of reflect on this whole getting to know each other thing, but how do you see your personal identity and experience reflected in your work? And how do you see it resonating with others?
That's such a cool question, Nealay. I just like having like my whole life is to seek joy. So I really, really just like things that make me happy, and things that don't help me be joyful, I kind of just put them aside. So I love the beach. I love pink. I love turquoise. Those are the things that you're going to see a lot in a lot of my items. But the other way I seek joy is finding new and exciting ways to do things in the jewelry community, connecting with people like you, finding really pretty, like just seeing pretty things. So that's how it's reflected in my work. I want to send out beads that I'd want to get, right? Like if something's not up to my standards, I'm not going to send it out. So I can tell you, I probably repainted one of these about 3 times because there was just a tiny dot wrong. Nobody probably would have noticed, but I noticed. So I make sure I double check everything before I send it out. So seeking joy, that's kind of my bead journey.
I see that in your work too, because your work isn't just straight up like, here's a conch shell, here's a tree. It's not so literal in the sense. There's an air of whimsy to it.
Yeah, whimsical.
Like a little bit of humor, whether it's presented in
Yeah.
the color or the juxtaposition of elements. Because I've seen stuff in your polymer clay collection that I'm just like, wow, I wouldn't have thought to put those two objects together and meld them into an illustration that looks like that. But that's wonderful. And it does bring me joy.
Yeah, that's the thing I do, is trying to seek joy. It took me a long time to get here, but those are the things
I think some of us are still working through, like we find little bits and pockets of joy and then, try and cleave onto those as hard as possible for any circumstance that might happen.
Yeah.
So another quick question. What do you hope, or what impact do you hope your jewelry has on those who wear it?
Well, probably the same thing, that they're happy, that it's something they're proud to see every day, something that they gravitate towards when they're trying to decide what they're going to put on. I don't really sell a lot of jewelry right now. I used to. It used to be a full-time job about 15 years ago. But now I kind of create it just for myself. But I will be selling little pockets of jewelry here and there. That's why I say keep checking back on my website, because you never know what kind of mood I'm in. But yeah, again, that same thing, like, hey, this is something really cool. I'm so excited to put it on every day.
Yeah, it's like your work is carried through to the wearer's confidence and happiness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that those are important things too. You said that you did jewelry 15 years ago as a full-time gig?
Yeah. So right out of college, it was right around the economic, like the recession, like the huge one. And I didn't really know what to do. I was like, I guess I'll just start making jewelry, because I had just gotten back into it. I was really into it when I was a teenager. And I've been making jewelry since I was like 8, right? So I got back into it in college, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I can try selling some of this. And I sold full-time on Etsy, enough to keep me going until I found my full-time day job with my current employer in 2013. So yeah, I would sell. It was not polymer clay. I did not get into polymer clay until like 2019, right before the pandemic. But yeah, it was just really fun vintage style jewelry that I had a blast making. And thankfully, a lot of other people really liked it too.
That's awesome. That's a great way to have. So it sounds like you've always been creative. Like that's never
Yeah, I
something
wanted to be an
that
art
really,
teacher
like
when I
you
was a
probably
kid.
honed it, but you didn't it's not something that just you were like, hey, I'm just gonna do this and become the best at it. Like you were already
I
creative.
wish. No, I remember when I was like in 4th grade thinking, oh, I want to be an art teacher. And I am an art teacher now. And so it
You
makes
are,
it so
yeah.
happy. Not as my full-time day job, but my full-time second job. I teach people how to make art all the time.
Absolutely. I
So
didn't think about it that way either because we're both kind of in that same ring of art teachers. It's
yeah,
just our art's different. It's not the traditional, what do they call it? The fine arts.
yeah. But
I
I
feel
mean, we
like our
still
art's
teach
fine.
art. We're having fun, right?
That's what I'm saying. Um, you work a daytime job. Tell us a little bit about that because I'm interested in what you do. That's probably not as creative as this.
It is not. So I do a couple things. I work for an insurance company. I've worked there for almost 11 years, and it's very demanding. It's very demanding. I lead a team of, I want to say 13 people right now, and then I also teach leadership classes and emotional intelligence courses and things like that. So it's really it flexes my brain in a different way, but I still get to interact with people and teach them and kind of help them develop skills, just different skills.
Oh wow. Do you see like your jewelry, not jewelry, what am I trying to say here? Your creativity, because it's not just jewelry, it encompasses everything. Like, how has that played an impact with your role as like something completely out of the jewelry world? There's got to be.
Yeah, so when I think about it, like I'm just so grateful that I have this outlet that helps me get rid of stress, because my day job is very stressful sometimes. So um I feel like this is even though this helps me, this is work too, it's not the work that takes away from my cup. It's the work that fills my cup, right? So this is my escape. This is my happy place.
I feel like that's the way that it goes for a lot of artists. And it's funny because it's like both uses of our brain, right? The right analytical side, and you're teaching someone else new skills, other skills that's not necessarily creative. And then to your point, we got to fill our cup back up before we're able to give back to the world. And so we kind of, I don't know, hide away in this little jewelry making world where we can just do whatever we want and have fun with it and escape from everything else.
Mm-hmm. I was telling somebody the other day, I would just love to live a life where I wake up and I have my little protein shake in the morning, pet my dog, and then come make jewelry for like however long I feel like it, make some custom beads just until I feel like I'm done, and then go about my day. That would be my favorite thing. That would be that's
The
the
American
goal
dream.
I am working toward.
Yes, I hear you. That's hopefully that will be all of our lives one day. We're not quite there yet because we still need some finances to keep us going. So okay, back to the crabs that you sadly burned. I want to talk about like when do you know that one of your polymer clay pieces or something that you've worked on is like a piece that's truly finished and ready to be shared with the world?
Oh, that's a good question. Most of the time I have a vision when I'm going in, and about 72% of the time then they change halfway through. So I kind of just go with the flow. I'm going to be honest. If there's something I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. That's when I'm finished. And then there's sometimes where I'm just like, maybe next drop, we'll put that in there. Or maybe this needs a tweak, but I don't have time right now. But most of the time, I just get this feeling like, oh gosh, I want to make something with this. Or, oh, I know one of my followers is really going to love this, So it's funny because I don't know if people know this, but yes, you all know us, but we recognize you too, right? Like our customers, our repeat buyers, the people who comment for us all the time, we know you and we know what you want. And we really appreciate what you have to say. So when I'm making something, I'm thinking like, oh, Michelle's going to really like this, or Leslie's really going to like this. So it's not just me. I keep it all of my beady friends in mind as well.
Wow, okay. I think that's a really good way to look at it. And it's truly like knowing at some point these customers kind of bleed into the friend territory, right?
Yep.
And then it's easy to kind of just pack onto our community because that's just what the beauty of our community is. It's gathering, it's, being creative together, a safe space for everyone. And yes, they support our livelihood, but in return, like we get so much more out of it just because of that relationship. And it inspires us to create and do these sorts of projects to, I don't know, we have them in mind is I guess what I'm trying to say. And it's interesting to know that that's when some of your work is best influenced and when you can share it with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to share a time with us when you made a mistake or an unexpected outcome led through like a breakthrough in your work.
Every time I do a drop, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of mistakes going on here. Well, one of the mistakes was me scorching the beads. So that's going to result in some really fun, funky painted beads that I wasn't expecting because I have all of these beads made now. I got to do something with them, but the color that they are right now doesn't work. Let's see. My last drop, I had a huge plan for this certain style bead and none of them turned out. So halfway through, I was like, what are we going to do? And it ended up in some really fun, like folksy looking pieces. I'm really good at pivoting. And I think I say that a lot on my channel too. Like, hey, if something's not working, don't continue to waste time on it. It's not going to go the way you want it to go. Start over. So
Yeah.
I think that happens quite a bit. And I did not bring the right size jump rings to attach onto these. So we might not get our earrings finished. So there's another mistake.
We were talking behind the scenes, everyone, that this is going to be the most authentic like format for our jewelry today because
Absolutely.
we have no plan. The supplies I'm sort of just making up on the spot. And you know how we all work. We have everything like organized to a certain degree and kind of put away. And then when we're starting on a project and or we have all of this like stuff to work with in front of us, of course we have to get everything out and look at things, pair it with wire, with crimps, with I don't know, earring hooks, everything, all the findings, beads and stuff. And then like probably we'll complete nothing, but we'll have
Right.
been so happy that we went through all the things. Like you'll probably complete something, Brittany, but I am sitting here like trying to make some wire wrapped head pins that I have no idea what I'm going to do with yet.
But I love that for you.
That's my journey today. I know I want to use the crab on something. It just I put a 9mm jump ring on it, and that's about as far as I got.
I am on the struggle bus with my jump ring choices, but I think I found these really thick ones, so it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. I did see a couple questions in the chat. One asked if I teach how to make beads. That's something I don't do right now. I do have a couple tutorials around polymer clay that are very old on my channel. I've noticed I don't get as much joy from those tutorials as I do beading tutorials. I love making the beads. I don't really like the polymer clay teaching aspect. But there are many, many people out there who have fantastic tutorials. And then another one said, how did Brittany come to like Venetian Millefiori? I hope I said that right. African trade beads. I was gifted with a lot.
Oh, yeah, I have that right
no
here.
idea what to do with them. You know, I don't know how I got. I think it was Tucson. I remember the first year I went when I moved here to Arizona, and I found my first strand of African beads, and it wasn't at African Village, which I didn't know about till much later. But I've just been obsessed with them ever since. I love the textures, love the people, love the prints, love the colors. They're just amazing. So, yeah, that's how I got involved. And I've just kind of been obsessed with any kind of tribal anything for a very long time. There's a lot of tribal designs in my shop too.
I haven't gotten to go there yet. So I feel like that's going to be on my to-do list. I'm going to hunt you down and make you take me to the freaking village this time. Whenever I think it was you and Deb Floros that went together.
Yeah, actually, I went like 2 or 3 times this year. I went with Deb. I went with my friend Cindy, Stacy. We went so many different times, and I got some really, really cool things that everybody was really excited about. But it's just, I just love the feel walking in there, and everybody's so wonderful. They're so nice. I just love talking to everybody in there.
I love that. All right, another random question for you. What role does collaboration play in your creative process, and how has it influenced your work?
Several different ways. So we have this collab that we're doing, right? So this was specifically geared towards the products that you have. So I had to kind of come up with some things that had my voice in there and also had your voice. But I love working with different artists. I know Deb and I have our own jewelry television show called Crimped.
That's right.
And I've tried to really I have one drop every month basically, and we do one episode every month. So I try to kind of do some kind of theme, not specifically with Crimped, but something that might be relevant. I would love to do more specific drops like this going forward, but collaboration, not just with this type of art, but my jewelry art happens all the time because of the different people in our awesome community that I get to work with. So I know, earlier this year I did the collab with Sam Speedbox where I designed the Southwestern box. It's just, I love collaboration. I don't think I would be as successful in the jewelry community if it wasn't for literally all the people I've had experiences working with. They're all amazing.
I agree. I think there have been so many more eyes on SilverSilk since I've expanded my friend pool, first of all, because that's kind of where the relationship starts, right? It's at least with me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I've also got this business that I do. But for everything. It's so warm and such a welcoming community that how could you not inspire each other and try different things together and
Right.
end up with a product or with some sort of process that you're extremely proud of and had such a like wonderful takeaway from it. So I get it. I know where that's all at. Ooh, look at how much you've already put together, and I've
It
been
was just one
very
thing.
I love that. I'm gonna do a close up on it. Oh my gosh, that
A bunch
is
of check beads.
beautiful.
And I don't know if this is going to be an earring or a pendant. That feels like it would be a pretty heavy earring because we've got like 9
All the
glass and pearl beads on there. But yeah, just fun. I think it's just fun. And another thing I like you don't always have to make a piece of jewelry, right? Like you can just make components, put them away, and then you have something fun for later. And I forget that a lot because a lot of the tutorials I do are beginning to end, right? And a lot of my joy comes from just making the beads, petting the beads, hanging out with the beads. So don't forget that you can be creative in several different ways. You don't have to be like somebody who's just making products. Oh my God, I love that. That is so cool.
Speaking of, I'm gonna make a shirt, by the way, because you just gave me an idea. That says "I pet my beads."
Send me one. Because I say that all the time. I pet my beads. That is gorgeous. I would have never thought of that. That is so pretty. What are those stones?
These are emeralds that are available in my pop-up shop, silversilkonline.com, and I just wire wrapped them individually with no set plan in mind.
That is
I almost
so
wanted to
nice.
connect this little like weird looking flower thing, bead cap to it, but have not decided if I want that on there. I don't know if that's a journey for that. We'll see. Okay, back to this crab. I need to do something spectacular with it.
No, I feel like the crab is one of my favorites as well.
So fun. Oh, okay. So another random question for you.
Okay. I'm all ears.
All right. What is the most challenging piece you've ever created, and what did you learn from that experience?
I have a couple of these, and they're both tutorials. Well, actually, one's a tutorial, and the other one I have been so damaged by that I haven't finished the tutorial yet. One was several years ago, and I just had this wild hair that I had to knot this necklace and get two or three different colors of S-line through every single bead on the necklace. And I got to tell you, the air was blue. I was very upset the entire time. Of course, I didn't put all that in the video, but you can hear my frustration in the video. Aww. And then recently, I made a necklace that I was just like doing a thrift store like haul for beads. And I was like, oh, you know what? We'll make a really quick necklace. And that is the death knell on my channel. If I say I'm going to do something really quickly, it turns into a several day process. And I got to tell you, the necklace is gorgeous. But I physically haven't been able to finish editing the video because of the PTSD from it. So it's coming. It's very beautiful, but I just can't look. I haven't even worn it because I can't look at the necklace that often.
I hear you. I don't think I've quite experienced anything that severe. At least not with this job. I have with my day job, but that's another story. But I think I can understand if like you need to kind of remove yourself from it to get a breath of fresh air back and reassess the situation with like a fresh mind, fresh perspective, better attitude.
Yeah, that's like I got to change my mindset before I come back to this project. And I say that on my channel too, like if you're frustrated, walk away. This is something that you want to bring you joy, right? Like don't get mad at your beads to the point where you're just like I cannot. So, yeah. I walk away a lot. Or I just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to switch to a different project for right now.
You know, honestly, that is also the walking away thing doesn't have to be just a negative thing either, right? So like anytime that I am feeling like, okay, I did get a component finished, but how can I elevate it? Maybe the solution isn't there right on the spot. So it's okay to set stuff down, keep it on your table, leave it there for a few days, ponder, dream, shower on it. It's just, you get these ideas at the most random time. and then the components they're waiting for you to like do something with, and you'll come back with a better solution.
Exactly. It's not rocket surgery. You don't have to do it right now.
No, exactly. Let's see. I'm gonna attempt to do a little like wire wrap on this crab. The legs
Me too, at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this and see where it goes. I can always cut it off and do something else with it if it doesn't work. You know, you have a thriving business and you've built it from the ground up and you've been insanely successful with it, and you keep expanding and trying these new and amazing ideas and keep it growing. But I'm curious to know, how do you incorporate feedback from your customers into your designs?
Good question. Thankfully, I have a fantastic following on YouTube and Facebook, and they tell me what they like. And a lot of the times, like, it follows the trends, right? So I incorporate things that I don't try to just do trends, right? I like to do them in my own way, something that I feel like I'm going to be able to look at 10 years from now. Yes, maybe this color was trendy, but it's still my style or something.
Yeah.
So people tell me, like, hey, we love cats. Okay, I'm going to keep making stuff that has cats in it. I'm going to keep doing animal stuff because I love animals so much.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, unfortunately, I can't do everything. There are probably 3,000 things I want to do, but I got to pick the 5 most important for me at the moment. So I kind of go, I incorporate their feedback with my vision, right? So that's what I try anyway.
Yeah, it sounds like you prioritize, like you take the feedback and can work with it in such a way that you prioritize your personal aesthetic and it's not compromised. It's just adding to the mix.
Right. Exactly. That's how I feel about it. I will say, if you're wire wrapping polymer clay, be very careful because it can rip if you're too heavy-handed on it. So I'm not close to ripping this here, but if I was really going at it, wire wrapping hard, like, you want to be careful because you can rip holes. Because it's just like any other bead, you can break beads. It's not indestructible.
I do love that your pendants have a little bit of flexibility to them. Like it's not super hard and it's not going to just, I mean, you can definitely rip holes as you said, but it's not it doesn't bust that easily.
Yeah, it's not a piece of ceramic or a glass that's going to break if you drop it. However, I do a stress test on a lot of my polymer clay pieces, but I would please say don't do that to the pieces that are finished and that I send to you. So I make sure that they're flexible, bendable, cured correctly. But the end piece, I don't want you to go home and say, oh, I saw Brittany did a stress test. Let me try it. We want our beads to last a long time. So when I'm talking about the stress test that I do, this is a bead that I was just a prototype at one point. I just go like this, make sure that good polymer clay should bend like this, but I've painted this, right? Like this is a finished piece. If you're bending pieces that I've painted, your paint's going to start changing, things like that. So don't do that to your artisan pieces, please.
It's a good disclaimer because we don't want the paint and everything chipping away. Yeah. So definitely protect that stuff as best as you can.
Right.
Okay. Have a wire wrap done. Meanwhile, you've already got another component finished.
Well, he needs 2 more. He's getting 2 little. I don't know if I want to hang from that would kind of be.
I kind of like it near the claw too because it's like, oh, I've got a grasp on these.
He's getting a hole in his claw, and we're gonna hang a pearl.
I love it. I'm so excited. So while you're doing that, I won't talk about the drilling.
All right, I'm done.
How do you balance the artistic and technical aspects of jewelry making?
So I feel like I'm really good at explaining things. So sometimes things just don't work, right? And you got to take the L. But I usually try and work through issues real time on my channel. So if something doesn't work, I rarely edit it out. Usually I do, like if I edit something out, it's because I went in a completely different direction or I just stopped with that train of thought. But most of the time, if I'm having a problem, I'm going to work it out. So the person who is just learning to make jewelry or hasn't tried this type of jewelry before can kind of see the thought process, learn how to do trial and error as they're going through their own projects. And sometimes you got to think outside the box, and it's hard to do when you're in that moment and you're trying to make a piece of jewelry. So seeing somebody else do it is helpful. And so technically, most of the time I know what I'm doing, but half the time I'm just kind of winging it and pretending like I know what I'm doing.
I think we all have that like slight make it till we or fake it till we make it attitude, which you go in with full confidence and you're gonna just leave with something spectacular.
Yeah. You'll leave with something. It might not be what you decided to make in the first place. Oh my gosh, Nealay, look. It's so cute.
Oh, it's holding a pearl. Okay, I'm gonna make it big. Hang on. Oh my gosh, I love
Sorry,
it.
it's a little blurry, but oh my gosh, I love her. I don't know that like this is the biggest earring ever, but I think it needs to be an earring. I need to go get like a rose gold.
It could be a pendant too, right? I guess.
Yeah. And okay, so I have a question for you. Is the intention that the SilverSilk logo is on the front or the back?
Honestly, I kind of leave that to the creator. There's so many different ways to use the findings. So if you leave it by itself, it's nice to have the imprint on the front side. However, that's not necessary because, the last thing I want on a t-shirt is a logo, quite frankly. And so I get it. But just be consistent, right? So if you're going to make a second earring, make them both face the non-logo side. You can actually glue stuff to the flat side that doesn't have the imprint on it. So that's another design option.
So smart. I actually wasn't paying attention. This was not intentional that's the back, that's on the front, but I just wasn't paying attention when I wrapped.
But there's some options, so you can always make it into a moment.
I feel like I need to use this purple because I don't typically head towards purple, but I really like this purple. I just don't know who we're gonna go with it. Oh, maybe the turtle.
The turtle would be okay. I wanted to use the turtle too because I am just in love with this little guy. So pretty.
He is a cutie.
Horrible. Fun story. Back when I think it was a couple of Christmas parties ago, we had a sort of a dirty Santa gift exchange, and it was just supposed to be like inexpensive, quick little things. And I had talked about metal straws because I have an obsession with metal straws and I don't like using the plastic ones. And so I think it was one of the CEOs of the company that was in an exchange with mine. He purchased some alcohol for me, which was great because that went to immediate use. And then he also got me a certificate for a fund. What is it for like a Save the Turtles sort of a fundraiser.
Oh, cool.
That he donated money to and then sent me this certificate of like, you saved little Charles. And it had like a picture of a turtle, which I thought was really cute.
That is so cute.
Anyway, that's my little turtle story.
I love that.
Another random question for you while you're processing your creative jive there. What role does your environment or workspace play in your creative process? And I know we sort of talked about how stuff is on the back end, but
chaos. I told you I was a goblin today. Like I am just a hot mess right now. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, how do I function as an adult with a business and a full-time day job because I act like a little child when it comes to cleaning up my space. Right now, unfortunately, we are very messy. And I don't like that. Like I know I pretty much know where everything is. Obviously not where my hand drill is, but I pretty much know like what section things are in the jewelry studio, which is next door, and then the clay room, which is right here. This is also my full-time day job workspace. I'm trying to like figure out, like, there's you could see my laptop and 2 screens for my day job. You know, I like being organized, but sometimes that really falls behind. And then I'll just kind of get into a everybody clean up mode where that's all I can think about. And that's when everything gets cleaned. And then we go back, and then 15 minutes later, it's a hot mess again. But right now, my life is chaos. My beading is chaos. So thankfully, when I send out orders, I have very big like processes that I use to make sure that everybody gets everything that they get, or they ordered correctly, and in a pretty good amount of time. But yeah, I would say I'm a chaos goblin at the moment. So sometimes that's reflected in my drops too, because sometimes they're not very coherent. Sometimes, like this one is very cohesive. I had 15 pieces that I designed for this drop, but sometimes I'm all over the place. It's really what I want to work on when I want to work on. And that's kind of my vibe anyway.
I think you kind of need stuff in access too. And it's like, yeah, it probably appears chaos to you, but I think there's probably a method to the madness, because I don't know about you, but whenever I have stuff around the room, I know exactly where it is within the mess, and I can quickly access what I need at any given point in time. Unless I were to like, or someone else came and cleaned it up, and then I'd just be like, where's all this stuff that I just put away?
I keep saying I want to like an assistant, but like the problem is I wouldn't know where an assistant would put anything, and that would just make it even worse.
It would make it worse.
So much worse. Oh, this is Nealay. What's the name of this chain?
Oh, the 3 needle. That's been a really hot product lately. Folks are finding all kinds of ways to bead through, you know, or what am I trying to say? String through beads with it, or what you're doing, like wrapping things with it. It's a fun chain to use.
It's really pretty.
Thank you. It takes 3 needles to create that thin chain, so hence the name 3 needle. I didn't really get creative with that one. I feel like I could have probably rebranded it or changed it. It's been in the SilverSilk family for a long time. It went away as like a discontinued product, and I breathed some life back into it, and now I've got 26 colors of it.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I love that. I wish I brought some beads with big enough holes to like string onto it, but I think most of the beads I brought were check, which have very small holes.
You know, I have another question for you. I think this is actually the last, because I asked you so many up to this point.
Okay, I'm used to it.
But I'm learning so much about you, and I think all of us are. How has your experience in jewelry making impacted other aspects of your life?
You know, I think my day job and my jewelry making journey have fed off of each other, and that my confidence is so much higher now. I went through some really intense leadership seminars and programs in my current role at my day job, and I think that's really helped with the way I communicate with our peers in the jewelry sector. You know, with our subscribers and customers and brands. So I think they both kind of feed off each other. And it's really, I've gained a lot of confidence, I got to say, in over the last couple of years, for sure.
Oh, I love that. And it's just sometimes greasing the wheels and trying to get to know things and feel them out better. And I think exercising both areas of the brain help with that too.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 11 o'clock. Or my time.
I've probably kept you on quite a bit, and I've accomplished virtually nothing.
I feel like I didn't accomplish anything, but I did. I mean, we made some really cute components, but that's what we said earlier. Like the components matter too. It's not just a finished piece of jewelry.
It isn't.
Jennifer says I live by structured chaos. Yeah, I wish there was some structure to my chaos.
I'm trying to work on making maybe a bail with
that is cool.
I don't know that like there's so many things like problematic right now about it that I just haven't thought about. Like how I'm going to end this or how would you stream through it. I don't know. So
I
many things, but
one thing that I wanted to show, but I guess I don't have a finished one on hand. But
what's that?
one of the things I did in the last couple drops was wire wrap some of my beads to include seed beads on them and turn them into a pendant. So you can do, I mean, I love that. That's really cool. And I love that pink up against the blue and gold. That makes me happy.
Thank you. I think I'm going to resolve this later on and figure out what I can do.
I know there's so much I need, like, there's so much I want to play with here. I did see one other question that said, what tool is Brittany using? And I guess it's this one, I think. This is my
It's
trusty
either that
dust.
or the Dremel.
Oh, the Dremel. Okay, so I'll show you both. This one's the multipliers by bead-along. I need new ones. I've been abusing these for several years. And then this one is a Dremel Micro. I don't know that this one's made anymore, but there are several different styles of Dremel. This is a cordless. It has its own charging. I've had this for 4 or 5 years. I love it. I use it for everything. I use it to sand. I change out the bit, sand things. I can drill. You can use it as a bead reamer too if you have bead reamer bits. So I love that thing.
Beautiful. Well, you know, despite not accomplishing anything, what I think I'm going to do is just spend some of today, because I've got no plans today. Yay! And no friends to that are, you know, pounding at my door to come hang out or whatever. So I thought I could just kind of relax today and knit some wire, do some stuff on the back end, and make jewelry pure selfishly just for fun. And I think I'm just going to wrap some of this stuff up and post it to the SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group.
Yay!
Finish it, and I would invite you to do the same with some of your beautiful pieces and that amazing crab that you have now.
Yeah.
Hanging for a pearl from it. It's just so fantastic.
I think eventually, if I have time, we'll post some kind of video incorporating this drop and SilverSilk. The thing I want to say is, and many of you who already follow me know that we sell out very fast once the drop goes live. So get in there. But please, please, please post on Brittany's Beads when you get your beads. Post there what you're looking for, because sometimes it's a shot in the dark what goes into a drop. And I want to make things for you that you want to see. And I know that the bead apocalypse happened last night, so it also limited how many things are going to happen to be in the shop today. But I will be making more today, tomorrow, and throughout the week to get in the shop. So keep coming back, keep checking in, because sometimes I'm a little quiet about what I put in there, and it's just like, oh, there's a new Zuni bear and there's a new shell. Like, sometimes it's just, you got to keep hitting back, and those are the people who get what they want.
Yes, I think the same thing happens to the pop-up shop as well. It's limited quantity stuff that we both procure and or make, and then it's just swiped off the shelf before I can even start promoting anything. And I make SilverSilk that's like smaller runs, anywhere from 35 units to 50, which is not a whole lot and doesn't have a long shelf life. And so the folks that are on the website every day are snagging those up right and left. So y'all get in there.
Yeah.
Bookmark all of Brittany's links and keep checking in with her, because she is always up to something creative. And I'm just so thankful that I got to hang out with you today, learn some stuff about you and your beautiful work. And now I've got all of these amazing little treasures that I could just find some happiness and joy today that I get to work on.
I had so much fun. We need to do this like more often.
Absolutely. I could definitely see us doing that and doing some more drops and coordinating together. I think that would make an amazing collaboration, future ones down the road.
For sure.
Any other final thoughts you have before we shut off?
If you're not already, please join one or all of the groups on Facebook that I'm in. One is Brittany's Beads, and the other one is Crimped. We have a page and a group, and that's where Deb Floros and I have our jewelry talk show. We're actually going to be filming our next episode next weekend, I hope. And our last episode is going to be going up on my channel pretty soon. So we talk about beads, we talk about artists in the industry, we talk about what's new and give you tips on shopping and what products to use, and each one's about an hour long. So you could just kind of put it on while you're drinking your coffee and playing with your beads. So
Yeah, I feel like it's almost a like video podcast
yeah,
almost.
that's exactly like what it is. And we have had just started bringing on guests. So who knows who's the guest for this month or upcoming months? We haven't announced that yet, but it's gonna be it's always fun. We always have a blast. We always end up laughing till we cry when we film. So
It's a great way to continue the circle of bringing in the community and introducing everyone to each other that haven't met before and carrying on the good vibes. So definitely check out Crimped. And I know for sure I try and keep up with all the episodes whenever they come out. And it's just to your point, it's a great background to listen as you're working in your studio or wanting to be entertained as you're probably doing some sort of menial task. But I highly recommend checking it out. All right. Well, guys, I think that's it for today's show. Again, I'll post some stuff in the SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group, but you can check out both our channels over on YouTube. Please subscribe and destroy that like button. All of
yeah.
that stuff is important for the health and well-being of our channels. And I believe each of us also are on Instagram, and you can follow us there as well. Brittany, thank you again. This was so much fun. And I guess until the next SilverSilk tutorial, you guys have an amazing weekend and keep it fun and creative. Stay safe. Love you guys so much. And I'll check you guys out again soon.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.